as current electricity. So if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, make sure you watch it and then continue watching. So I'll be uploading notes in my description. Please go download it and read it for better understanding. So let's get into the video. So now we have to learn about something known as the Kirchhoff's law. Okay. Now we'll discuss about the Kirchhoff's law. So first thing, we have to learn that there is two Kirchhoff's law. First one is the junction rule and the second one is the loop rule. So let's see the junction rule first. So what does the junction rule states? It states that the algebraic sum of the currents meeting at a junction in a closed circuit is 0. So let us see. And over here I have written y is equal to 0. That is current entering. IE is equal to IL, current leaving. So let's see. If I1, I2 and I3 are the currents which is coming inside. Okay. So I1, I2, I3. So we'll add all these currents is equal to I4 plus I5. Because why? Current entering is equal to current leaving. And then I told you the algebraic sum is 0. If this is 0, what will happen when this comes to this side? Now it is in the opposite side of the equation. Now we are taking into the same side. So what will happen? This will become minus. So what is it? This is minus. This is minus. Okay. So by convention, the current entering is taken as positive and current leaving is taken as negative. So that is to talk about the junction rule. Next we learn about the loop rule. So the second rule has told us the loop rule. So let's see. What is it? It states that in any closed circuit, the algebraic sum of the change in potentials must be 0, or the algebraic sum of the EMF is equal to the algebraic sum of the product of resistance and current, okay, and the current flowing through them. So let us see what is told over here. So over here it is told that either the total EMF is equal to what? Total of the product of I and R. So that's it. Sigma I R. So this is what is being explained over here. Now since we discussed the law, let's see it in the circuit. So here is a circle. This is too small. I'll draw it bigger. Okay. So this is our circuit, and let's name the circuit A. Let this be A, B, C, D, E and F. This is resistance 1, resistance 2 and resistance 3. This is cell number 1 and cell number 2. So current flowing from cell number 1 is taken as I1. Okay. This current will flow from here till here. Yeah. Take the case of that till here. Now there is a junction or there is a meeting point. So what happens? Current from cell 2 is taken as I2. I2 will also come till here. So now both these currents will add up and will move to this direction. Okay? Both these will add up and move to this direction. So the current passing through this portion is I1 plus I2. Okay? So this current is being flowed and this current comes down. When it comes down over here, only I2 will go back. Through this way, I2 will go back and I1 would reach the negative terminal of cell 1. Okay? So that is to talk about the diagram. Now let's see some conditions which say or sign conventions which are important to write or do the equation. So let's see. So what is a sign convention? How do you take, like one of them is positive and one of them is negative? How do you take that? That is by, I'll show you. Some rules or regulations. The first one is, if the current is in the anti-clockwise direction, it is positive. If the current is in the clockwise direction, it is negative. If the current flow is in the direction of the potential, then it is positive. If the current flow is in the negative direction or in the opposite direction of potential, then it is negative. So these are the conditions. So now we see E1 minus E2 is equal to IR1 minus IR2. So how is E1 minus E2? E2 is equal to IR1 minus IR. So I1 R1 minus I2 R2. We learned that what? Sigma E is equal to sigma I into R. So let's take the case. Oh wait, the same diagram is what I've drawn here just for explanation. So let's see. Let's take the case of C, D, E, F. Okay. So let's take that case and I will show you how do you write the current. So for C, D, E, F, C, it comes back to C, no? Then it will flow like this. It's a circuit. So C, D, E, F, C, what happens is the current flowing through R. There are how many resistances are there in this? Only in this circuit there are two resistances. So one is R2 and one is R3. So first we will take the case of R2. What is the current flowing through R2? That is I2. So we will write E, total E is equal to I2 R2 plus. Okay, next one is R3. What is the current flowing through it? That is I1 plus I2. So I1 plus I2 into R3. So this is the what? Total EMF in CDEFC. The circuit CDEFC. So that is all to discuss about Kirchhoff's law. Now next we will discuss about Wheatstone's bridge. So let's see what is it. Now we are going to discuss about the Wheatstone's bridge. So let's see. Let's draw the Wheatstone's bridge. A battery, a key, okay, and a Wheatstone's bridge will look like this. We learned about the Wheatstone's bridge in chemistry, electrochemistry chapter, didn't we? When we were measuring the resistance of an electrolyte. We use this. And there's a galvanometer inside. Well, in the case of the electrolyte, in chemistry we didn't take galvanometer here because we didn't have direct current. We had alternating current, okay? I was just relating it. So, let's see what is it. We'll take this as R1, R2, R3 and R4. Okay? So, if like usually Wheatstone's bridge is used to find out unknown resistance. Let's take R3 to be our unknown resistance. So, let's make R3 to be unknown and we have to find out the value. And R2 is the variable resistance. It can vary. Whereas R1 and R4 are what? They are known resistors. Okay. So by adjusting the values, you can get the value of R3. So how do you adjust the values? There is something known as the stable or the balanced state. When do you say that a Wheatstone's bridge is balanced? When the galvanometer shows null deflection, zero deflection. Okay. So when the galvanometer shows zero deflection, you say the Wheatstone's bridge is balanced. So when you have to find out the R3 value, you will balance this whole, the whole Wheatstone's bridge by varying the R2. So you will get the value of R3. So now let's see the current passing through each of the resistors. Okay. So I'm just rubbing these things. I'll use the same diagram for explanation. So, let's see. This is our cell, our battery. What happens? There is a current moving. That current is termed as I1. So, the I1 will move and it will come here, no? When it comes here, it will split into two. It will become I1 and I2. Okay. So, now which side, which part should we take first? Let's take the first one, I1 itself. So, we'll move with the I1. So, the resistance over here, see this current, okay, let's see, this current will move like this, right? When it comes to here, what will happen? There would be again the splitting of I1. So, when it comes over here, this galvanometer, so I'll just mark it as IG, okay? Ig, and then what would be the current passing through this hand or this arm of the not potentiometer, sorry, Wheatstone's bridge? That would be I1 minus Ig. Okay, am I right? And this comes to this point. Okay, this I1 minus Ig comes till here, so we'll mark it over here. Till here, what is it? I1 minus Ig. Okay. Now, let's see. In this case, this Ig would come till here, no? So, let this Ig be here. Okay. And this I2, when it comes here, there's a junction. These two will add up together and would move. How will it move? It will move like this as I2 plus Ig. Am I right? This is I2 plus Ig. It will move like this. And this would come over here. Okay. And these two will add up and move like this. So we'll add these two. I1 minus Ig plus I2 plus Ig is equal to what? Ig gets cancelled. That is I1 plus I2. What is I1 plus I2? See, this I only split into I1 plus I2. So this is I1 plus I2 current that is flowing through here implies what? The current is equal to I. See, since we discussed about the Wheatstone's bridge, the overall view, now we can apply the Kirchhoff's law into this. Which law? That is the junction rule and the loop rule. See, that is the current entered was I1 and I2. What is the current leaving? That is also equal to I1 and I2. Current entering is equal to current leaving. So that is the junction rule. So now we will discuss about the loop rule in Wheatstone's bridge. And by the way, Ig for a balance, this value for a balanced Wheatstone's bridge is equal to 0. Okay, there is no value. Okay, let's see. So I just draw this diagram a bit neater for better understanding. So yeah. Okay, so this is a Wheatstone's bridge. Let's name the each resistance as, let's make it P, Q, R and S. Okay, so we told you what all were the currents. Over here it is I2, over here this is I1, and what happens over here? The Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, over here let's make it the galvanometer, and this is Ig. This is I1 minus Ig, and this is over here, this is I1 plus Ig, this is I, and over here this is I1 plus I2 equal to I, and that will get back. So this is a diagram, no? So let's make it clear. So what did we say? That the EMF is equal to the product of what? The resistance and the current. So let's take the loop. We didn't name the loop also. So we name the loop. The loop is A, B, C, D. Yes? Yeah, we named the loop also. So now let's take first, which loop should we take? Let's take A, B, C, D. Sorry, A, B, D, A. So we'll take A, B, D, A. What is the EMF of that? How many resistances are there? 1, 2 and 3. Okay, 3 of them are there. So let's see. What is the current passing through? There's only 2 of them. Sorry, there's only 2 of them. What is the current passing through them? First we'll take the case of P. For P, what is the current? The resistance is named as P. So P into I1. Okay. Plus, what is the next resistance? That is S. This is S. Okay. S into I2. That is the EMF of which one? A, B, D, A. So let's take the next case. Okay. Over here, what is it? Let's write. there are two resistances over here also. So first we'll take Q. So Q into, let's write, because this is a 2, there's a double number, or there's a what do you say, a minus symbol coming together. So we'll make that in the bracket. I1 minus Ig into Q is what? The EMF of the cell, that is E is equal to, and then plus there is one more over here. What is the current passing through over here? That is I1 plus Ig into R. Okay, so this is the equation for the loop BCD. Yeah. So next we'll see ABCDA. Okay, let's see what is that. For ABCDA, let's write it over here. I'm rubbing this and I'm writing here. This is P. Okay. So what is this? First one is I2. So let's write E is equal to S into I2 plus P into I1 plus what? Q into I1 minus Ig plus R into I1 plus Ig. That is the total EMF of the whole cell. So that is all to talk about Wheatstone's bridge. So next we have some applications. This was also an application. There is other two applications. So in this video we will discuss about meter bridge also. So let us see what is meter bridge. Meter bridge. So we know that meter bridge is also known as either slide bridge or slide wire. So to talk about meter bridge is actually a practical application of Wheatstone's bridge. That is, meter bridge works in the principle of Wheatstone's bridge principle. So that is what, P by Q is equal to R by S. So that is a Wheatstone's bridge equation. So this is the equation. So now let's learn the parts of the Wheatstone's bridge, the meter bridge in detail. So the first one is, these L-shaped things are thick copper wire. Even this is thick copper wire. Between them, in the first part, it is a known resistor R that is connected. In the second part, it's an unknown resistor X. So what is the principle of Wheatstone's bridge? Why did we use a Wheatstone's bridge? We used a Wheatstone bridge to calculate or to find out the unknown resistance. If this is an application of Wheatstone's bridge, so this will also have the same function. So we are going to find out the unknown resistance. And then there's a jockey connected. This curved line is a jockey with the galvanometer. So this is the galvanometer. Even we had a galvanometer in the Wheatstone's bridge. Now the same galvanometer is connected by a jockey over here. It is connected to, this is A and this is B. It is connected between A and B with a wire. That is meter bridge, 1 meter length. It's 1 meter long. That is 100 centimeter long. Okay. That is to talk about the structure or the parts of the the meter bridge. So now let's see. We know R is equal to length by resistance. So what is resistance? Resistance is equal to R into L. Okay. So I told you it works with the principle of Wheatstone's bridge. We said, so I have named this as R, X, P and Q. So how do you find out the unknown resistance? In the previous case, we were adjusting one of the, there was a variable resistor and we were adjusting that. Over here, we will give a suitable resistance in the resistance box and we will adjust the jockey to a particular length. Then the galvanometer shows zero deflection. The meter bridge is said to be balanced. So when it comes to a particular length, that length is called as, for example, let me take it over here. It's over here, maybe. Okay. So the distance from A to this point is known as the balancing length. Okay. So we know what R is equal to, I have no space, so I am writing R is equal to small r into L. Resistance is equal to R into L. The Wheatstone's bridge equation, P by Q is equal to R by S. The same way, what is our P? Our P is L. So L, and what is our Q? Our Q is 100 minus L. Okay, and what is our R? And then what did we learn? Resistance is equal to L into R. Okay, so there's an R over here. Okay, this is multiplied with an R. Okay, and these two will get cancelled. Then it will become L by 100 minus L is equal to, we know that what is the value of R? We know the value of R. Okay, so we'll write R as R, and this X is actually RS. So we'll write it, substitute as X. Now is it easy to find out the value of X? Let's see how do you find out. I'm rubbing this. I hope it is clear. The image is clear. I'm just erasing the figure. So how would you write it? X should come here is equal to R into 100 minus L divided by L. Am I right? Yeah? X would come here, this would go there, this will come here. Yes. So we have found out the unknown resistance in that meter bridge. So we've come to the end of today's session. I hope you might have liked it. If you have liked it and understood it, please give my video a huge thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel if you're new to it. Also share my videos with your other friends. So see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye.